The Oncomine solution is a very nice solution for us. I mean, when you think into Oncomine, you have a wide array of panels that are very small panels, medium-sized panels, large panels, tissue and liquid biopsy. And I would say that by using these panels, we can really address most of the questions that come from colleagues for clinical research. Sometimes they just ask us to assess a few mutations in few genes, so you can go with the small panels if the budget is low. In other cases, I mean, you need really large panel when you want to do discovery. And these are really robust solutions that are being used also in the clinical trials, like the NCI match trial. We use a lot of the comprehensive assay also in our research, and I do trust that these panels really represent a very good solution for many clinical research applications now. Tissue, unfortunately, is still an issue in many different tumor types, in particular in non-small cell lung cancer. So the possibility really to perform a genomic profiling starting with a very low input DNA, 10 nanograms, or many cases lower than 10 nanograms. I mean, we have adapted the Oncomine to use really 5 nanograms over lower levels of DNA. That is really a great advantage.
Oncomine's solution means to me that I can perform the analysis basically in all the cases we get, even with a small amount of material.
Oncomine Solutions for us means that we can get good sequencing results from almost every sample that arrives in our lab. This is important because the samples that arrive in our lab on a daily basis are very different from one another. We receive samples where we have very large tissue, but also very small biopsies. And we need to have a solution that is able to handle all of this broad spectrum of samples. That's why we decided to go for the Oncomine solution, because it does allow us to work with very little input material, even from very small samples. Additionally, the liquid biopsy Oncomine solutions allow us to also investigate genomic aberrations in cell-free DNA obtained from blood plasma.
In our lab, we have been working with Oncomine Solutions for 3 years now, for several applications. I think all Oncomine Solutions have in common to provide their user with complex bioinformatic pipelines delivered turnkey in their user-friendly ion reporter server, either to annotate hotspot variant, calculate copy number variants, or even counting tumor mutational load.
We have been using Oncomine NGS panels in our laboratory for around the last 18 months or so. And we find that the workflow is very simple and hands-free and a real easy end-to-end solution, particularly as our laboratory had very little past experience of using NGS. And this means that we've been able to streamline our workflow and increase the amount of comprehensive data we're generating, which is also providing data at increased sensitivity compared to the technologies we were using previously. And furthermore, because we've streamlined our workflows, we are improving our turnaround times.
In our lab, the first time we introduced one panel, we had the support in our lab. So basically the technical support came into our lab, and then we just did the wet part together. And after this, we had then a video conference in order to analyze the data. And then the very important point is that we get information about the possible step which can make problem during the whole procedure. Once we do our wet part in the lab, then we can see the result and analyze the data together on video conference. But whenever there is a need, they can also come to our lab and then discuss the different problems on the spot. This is for us very important because we don't have a lot of time to introduce new NGS panel. So if we introduce one new panel, for us it's important to have this support in order to be sure that we can perform the analysis without having major problems.